Senate will now come to order. The Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence will be led by Chief of Staff Thornton.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. You may be seated.
The clerk will call the roll. Please correct the pronunciation of your name if it is incorrect.
Ashmore, Aloco, Anderson, Ashmore, Baldinger, Brazier, Cullum, Koviak, Creedon, Cumby, Diapolito, Davis, Dorsey, Worsnowski, Erler, Greer, Fry, Galvin, Gay, George, Gopel, Hopkins, Hunter, Iftikhar, Jacobson, Cassetti, Keenan, Kern, Kirby, Lewis, Matthews, Wakapusia, Pickford, Sams, Sanders, Santiago Cedillo, Schmidt, Sheridan, Spurgeon, Silkert, Tapia, Tolaka, Violette, Von Cannon, Walker, Watley.
Senator Cassetti is present, too. With a quorum being present, is there a motion to approve the Journal of September 10th, 2025 as found online? Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. We are now in line for general orders of the Senate, beginning with reports from Senate leadership. Speaker Pro Tempore Violette, you are recognized.
Hey everybody. Rules met Sunday at 5:30. We discussed 10 pieces of legislation, all of which were found favorable. We also drafted an amendment to SBL 11760. That, I yield my time to questions.
The Speaker Pro Tempore yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We are now in line for report for the Academics Committee. Are there any representatives present? Speaker Pro Tempore Violette, you're recognized.
Give me 1 second. So academics met Friday at 8 p.m. online and in person, where we discussed legislation that was upcoming for members within committee, along with plans to collaborate with the other branches of student government. Along with that, we discussed SBL 11760 and found it could not pass as is within committee without some changes to 2 of the that clauses which were sent along to the Rules Committee for an amendment. With that, I yield my time to questions.
The Speaker Pro Tempore yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We are now in line for report from the Finance Committee. Chairman Matthews, you are recognized. Senator Wakapusia is present.
Good evening. Finance Committee met last Friday at 3:30 p.m. We reviewed $942.89 and approved $409.82. I yield the questions.
The chairman yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We are now in line for report from the Health and Safety Committee. Chairwoman Cumby, you are recognized.
Hi, everyone. The Health and Safety Committee met on Sunday at 7 p.m. due to being unable to meet last week after Senate, and we found both SBL 177-55 and 56 unanimously favorable. And then we also discussed our plans to host a flu shot clinic in collaboration among the College of Pharmacy and also College of Nursing. And then we are also planning our drink test kit initiative for the end of October along with this self-defense class. I yield my time to questions.
The chairwoman yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We are now in line for a report for the Judiciary Committee. Chairwoman Diapolito, you are recognized.
Hey guys, Judiciary met at our normal time on Tuesdays, which is 6 o'clock. We went over SBL 11760, which we found favorable with an amendment from a vote of 2 favorable with an amendment to 1 favorable with no amendment. Also, if you guys are interested in joining Judiciary, feel free to join during the motion period. I will give you a little heads up. We're about to fall under quorum if some motions are made that I believe are going to be made. So if you're interested, please join. You don't have to be there in person. I'm open to opening it on Teams. We need some really dedicated people because there's a lot of work we got to get.
What time do y'all meet?
We meet at Tuesdays at 6 o'clock. And I yield my time to questions.
The chairwoman yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Speaker Pro Tempore Violette.
Yes.
Senator Galvin.
I'm open to maybe finding alternative meeting times if that means we meet quorum. I am open to Thursdays too, so.
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We are now here a report from the Liberties and Representations Committee. Chairwoman Hopkins, you are recognized.
Hi, everyone. I have a few things to go over. First off, our meeting times are Mondays at 4, so exciting. We finally were able to do our tour of the Anne Frank Center, and it was awesome. I personally had never been before, and I learned a lot, and we had fun. A lot of members of the Liberties and Representations Committee were there. And for those of you who weren't there, we took lots of videos, including a great video of our Speaker Pro Tempore aside. But basically, so like if y'all don't know, Anne Frank in the annex, it was hiding behind like this movable bookshelf. And they have one in the Anne Frank Center, and it's super sick. And our Speaker Pro Tempore grabbed that thing and moved it aside, and we all like scurried inside. It was so cool. Anyway, that doesn't matter, but I really recommend it. It was a lot of fun. And I sent an email afterwards reaching out to the center about potentially doing some legislation with them. And they are super interested and want to set up a time to meet probably next week to talk about legislative ideas. So I will be sending out a when to meet for my committee and anyone else who has any bright ideas. In addition to that, so we were going to meet next week with Parking and Transportation at 3 on Tuesday, but the director's going out of town, so we're pushing it back a week, and we'll now be meeting Wednesday the 1st at 3. So if you are available, feel free to come by. It's going to be fun. Well, probably not because it's just going to be talking, but we're going to get a lot of stuff done. And yeah, that was a lot, but I yield the remainder of my time to questions.
The chairwoman yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Powers and Responsibilities Committee. Chairwoman Anderson, you are recognized.
Hi everyone. Powers met at 5:15 on Monday, and we found SBL 11760 favorable by a vote of 3 favorable, 2 unfavorable, and 1 abstention. And then this week, we interviewed Sergio Bandigas, Sebastian Le Marie, and Gavin Primus, and they were all found favorable. And then Evan Lawton rescinded his application because he got a spot in freshman council, which is exciting. And we're requesting a 1-week extension for the interview of Brandon Green. And with that, I yield my time to questions.
The chairwoman yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Student Life Committee. Are there any representatives present? Oh, Chairman Spurgeon, you're recognized. Sorry, I couldn't see you. I don't have my contacts in.
Hi, we met at our normal time, 6 Monday. We found Bill 57 unfavorable. That's the one with pet absences, because there's a high potential for misuse, and so we'd like to see some of this. Good idea, but hopefully we see some of those big holes tied up a little bit more. It also combines absences with concurrent doctor's appointments, which is also left kind of unspecific. But yeah, and then we found Bill 60, recommendation to hire Dr. Goodman favorable. Any questions? I yield to questions.
The chairman yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Sustainability Committee. Chairwoman Gopel, you are recognized.
Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. We met at our normal time Monday at 6:30. We found SBL 11760 unfavorable due to the committee assignments, so I guess with an amendment. There's a sustainable meeting tomorrow campus-wide that Marietta Rope, she's the Secretary of Sustainability, she is going to that, so hopefully there'll be lots of ideas coming from that. And then I also, speaking of Marietta Rope, I had a meeting with her on Monday as well, and she has a bunch of initiatives that she wants Senate to also work on. I am sending out a Google form this week so that we can choose our initiative that the Sustainability Committee wants to work on. I have a meeting with Jesse McNeven on September 29th. I also today met with some of the the Sustainable Carolina to talk about green certification. So hopefully we can start seeing if we can green certify or at least send out recommendations to some events that are requesting funding. I'm also got an email from Ben Roach. He is the liaison from Senate and FROCO, which I'm super excited to work with him. And I'm having a meeting with him on Monday. And then Marietta and I are doing green on green tabling September 30th. And I yield my time to questions.
The chairwoman yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Freshman Council. Are there any representatives present? Y'all are all recognized. Okay. Also, for our Freshman Council people, I always ask that you guys just tell us like where you're from, just so we get to know you.
Okay, first of all, hi everybody. Very exciting week for Will and I, 2 weeks. We finished with 240 applications, a record for FROCO, and we interviewed 81, and then we took 53 members. So we have 53, and here's 2 right here. We had the retreat this past Sunday. It went amazing. We went over everything, and we have assigned committees and other things later.
Yeah, so after the retreat, we had our first meeting on Monday, and everything since then has started, whether that's their position in their committees, committee meetings, big little events, things like that. I've heard a couple liaisons have reached out. If you have a FRO committee that's adjacent to one in Senate and you don't hear from your liaison by the end of the week, please let me know and I'll handle that. And then they're going to start initiatives soon. They want to help you, and hopefully you want to help them. So they'll be reaching out with that. Shadowing's not going to start for another 2 weeks, but keep that in mind. They're going to be coming to some committee meetings and Senate when that does start. And they're super eager to work with you guys. And I think it's going to be a great opportunity for them to see what y'all do.
Good evening. My name is Shaw Kendall Abernathy. I'm a freshman here at the University of South Carolina. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, and one of the primary reasons I chose USC was because of its vibrant and engaging student government. I'm pursuing a major in political science with a minor in communications. This year, I have the privilege of serving on Freshman Council, where I represent my class as a member of the Student Life Committee, and I also hold the position of Cabinet Liaison. I'm truly excited to take full advantage of the many opportunities that Freshman Council provides, particularly in the areas of leadership, service, and building meaningful connections within our campus community. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Bo Skaikini, and I'm representing the Academics Committee as Committee Chair on Freshman Council. I'm truly honored to be standing before you as a member of your 2526 Freshman Council. I think it's truly special that we have so many people in this class of Freshman Council eager to serve not only student government, but USC as a whole. And what's been overwhelmingly clear to me since Sunday, through all the meetings and discussions that we've had, is that every member of Freshman Council brings that same vigor and zeal to this role. We're looking forward to working with you all in the coming months and doing everything we can to make USC a better place for students and everyone in general. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak today, and I look forward to collaborating with you in the coming months. Thank you for your time, and we yield to any and all questions.
Great. The representatives yield their time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none. Great job, guys. We will now hear a report from the Constitutional Council. Are there any representatives present? Seeing none. Great. We'll now hear a report from the Speaker of the Senate, Chief of Staff Thornton, as well as myself. You are recognized. We're going to have a longer report tonight because because we've gotten some reports that like the committee attendance sheet is not up to date. So Addison is literally going to go through every single committee and read off every single person that we have on our list that is a member of the committee. And if your name's red and you're not on the committee, tell us so we can delete you. And if your name's not red and you are on the committee, also tell us so we can add you. And then also at the same time, sorry, I'm going to have the QR codes up for the GroupMe's. So now is the time that if you are in a committee and your name is read off, you should be joining their GroupMe's for up here.
Okay, I trust that rules is correct, so I'm starting with academics. We have Lennox Koviak, Amelia Gay, Kaylee Erler, Angel Talaka, Lakika Cassetti, Ash Jacobson, Daniel Violet, Marshall Pigford, and Matthew Fry as our academics committee. Are there any issues with that? Okay. And Kaylee? Perfect.
And if you guys are in GroupMe's for committees you're not in, like make sure you're leaving them as well.
Okay. Is that everything for academics? Finance? Matthews, Fry, Greer, Gopel, Brazier, Jacobson, Galvin, Kern, Dworsnowski, Davis, George, Santiago Cedillo, Spurgeon, Iftikhar, Hunter, Hopkins, Wakaposia, Pickford. Are there any issues with finance? Okay. Okay. Anything else for finance? Hi. That are
Yes.
currently in finance. Perfect. Health and safety. Humby, Baldinger, Kern, Sams, Talaka, Sanders, Watley, Keenan, Gay. You're on that one? Okay. Everything for health and safety? Judiciary? Dapolito, Ashmore, Sams, Loco, Walker, Fulham, Davis, Erler. Is anyone else in judiciary or I called your name and you're not? Perfect. Okay. Liberties and representations. Hopkins, Iftikhar, Walker, Sams, Fry, Cassetti, Erler, Watley, Kirby, Hunter, Fulham, Pickford, Violet. Fry? Walker? Pickford? What's the other one? Okay. Hunter's not. Cassetti? Not. And Tapia? You're on it? Or not on it?
She's on it.
Okay. I have to remove Fry, Walker, Pickford, Hunter, and Cassetti. Did I miss any? Okay. And I need to add Tapia. Sustainability. Gopel, Gay, Kern, Davis, Keenan, Kirby, Ashmore. Okay. Is that it, Davis? Powers. Anderson, Dorsey, Freer, Gopel, Walker, Silkert, Creedon, sorry, Humby, Baldinger, Spurgeon, Hopkins, Iftikhar, Miles, my dad, sorry, these are not fixed. And Pickford. Okay. Walker. Okay. Okay, got it. Perfect, thank you. Anything else? Okay, thank you. These are getting fixed immediately after Senate today, I promise. In student life, Spurgeon, Von Cannon, Sanders, Kobiak, Erler, Lewis, Pickford, Hunter, Kirby, and Tapia. You're not. Tapia? Not on it? Okay. Is that it for student life? Perfect. Thank you so much. Sorry, that was a lot. These got moved around a lot in the past 3 weeks. So we're fixing them tonight. I yield my time to questions.
Okay, any questions about that before I go into my updates? No. Do you have questions, Senator Davis? Okay, awesome. Sorry that took a long time, but it was clearly needed to be done. So there should be no questions after tonight about like attendance and things like that. But if you do have a question, please let me know, because you guys all know like your own individual like track records and things like that. So if you're looking and it seems like something's incorrect, just reach out to us so we can try and figure out, you know, where the mistake is coming from. Sorry that I wasn't here last week. I was sick, and I also got sick like really last minute, so I wasn't planning on not being here. But our speaker pro tempore did an awesome job. I just wanted to answer some questions because I've heard that there's been a lot of questions about SBL 11760 and like the topic that has to do with Dr. Goodman and making edits to the codes. Once again, my apologies that I was not here last week to explain it, but just a little bit of further clarification if this makes sense. So he like is a full-time professional, and this is something that he does and he has done at other SEC schools. So that's how we learned about his name, was at SEC Exchange. What he does is essentially something, if you think of like a traffic light, like red, yellow, and green. So he goes through the entire codes from page 1 to page, I think we have 187 pages right now, page 187, and marks everything red, yellow, or green. So red would be if there's something in the codes that is just straight up illegal, it doesn't align with university policy, it doesn't align with state, federal law, anything like that. So we know that can't be in our codes, because our codes are always going to be trumped by the law or university policy. If something's highlighted yellow, that means that it might not technically be illegal, but it's like teetering on the edge. It could present some legal loopholes in case something like happened and somebody raised questions about it. And so like to strengthen our codes and to allow us all to be protected as a body, it might be better if we like tweak or edit that. And then green would be, okay, that's totally fine. So a majority of like our day-to-day codes is probably going to be green. The other thing that he's going to do is kind of like when you submit a paper to a TA or a professor and you're like, can you edit this for me? He's going to put in suggested edits, but it's like comments on the side. He's going to be working with a group of students that's going to be selected by university administration, but it's not going to be random students. It's going to encompass people from student government, people who work with the codes every single day, senators, things like that. I don't have a hand in that though. And they're going to be working with him. And then the end product of that is just going to be suggestions. He's not coming in and like overhauling our codes and we're just going to show up in the fall and there's going to be a completely new document. It's suggestions, and everything that's suggested to be edited still has to be a piece of legislation and still has to be passed. But those are basically the two major things that he's doing. First off, just like basic grammar edits. This can be made more concise. This is grammatically incorrect. We don't need to be having lists in a 1, 2, 3 format. It could be commas, things like that. And then on the other hand, checking it and making sure that our codes are legal, they uphold our university policies, our standards as students at the university. Does that answer any and all questions? Does anybody still have a question? Because I know that there was confusion about it. And like now is the time to ask. Okay, well, if you think of anything, please let me know, but it's not like some random third-party person's coming in and just upheaving everything that Senate has done, because that's not the function and that's not the purpose of it. We are now in line for report for the student body treasurer. Treasurer Ashley Reynolds, you are recognized.
Hey y'all, happy Wednesday. I'm glad to be back. Not many updates from the Treasurer's Branch. We have our next workshop tomorrow. We have, I think, like 22, 23 requests sitting right now that we will work through in the coming days and hopefully get a lot of them to finance by Friday. Our brand new reimbursement system is up and running, and so far it's been going great. But we don't have anything from here for people to submit reimbursements on quite yet, besides the ones that were passed last week. Which events haven't happened yet, or if they have happened, just haven't submitted reimbursement for yet. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. And then on another note, SOFAB, the other financing body, has almost been fully requested. So though it has not been fully approved, it has almost been fully requested. So that'll be also something interesting to keep an eye out for. And other than that, I yield my time to questions.
The student body treasurer yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Chairwoman Anderson. There's been a motion to appoint Chairperson Cumby as Chairwoman Anderson's proxy. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Chairwoman Anderson. Granted. Any other questions for the treasurer? Awesome, seeing none. Thank you. We are now in line for a report from the student body vice president. Vice President Jordan Richardson, you are recognized.
Hello, hello. I don't really have much to report on either. We have SU on the street tomorrow from 10 to 2 with the USCPD, so we'll be on Green Street. And we're doing SU Value Safety, so we'll be giving out free Celsius, so please sign up if you haven't already. We definitely need the support out there. The USCPD is doing a ticket alcohol education with drunk driving. They're breaking golf carts on Green Street and goggles, and it's gonna be a really good time. So I definitely recommend coming out there to support. Later with this month, we're having coffee with the counselors on September 29th. So keep that date in your calendars. Would love for y'all's help on that as well. And then a reminder that Walkathon is on October 5th, so please mark your calendars for that because we'll definitely need everybody out there supporting. The Freshman Council, we had our record retreat this past Sunday, which went really well. Shout out to Will and Abby for planning everything. Also had a first FOCA meeting, which was super exciting, but that's pretty much all I have for this week. So I yield my time to questions.
The student body vice president yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Okay. Seeing none, thank you. And FYI, all of those events, SG on the street, popsicles with the provost, coffee with counselors, those are all Senate absence excusal events. The form for that's on Garnet Gate. So if you have an unexcused absence and you want to get rid of it, show up to tabling. Right. We are now in line for a report from the student body president. President Courtney Cox, you are recognized.
Happy Constitution Day, everyone. I hope everyone got tested on the Constitution on Davis Circle. Who got tested? Wow. Yes, I saw Brooke there. Anyways, I just want to let you all know everyone in student government got a shout out from the president today at State of the University. So keep up the great work. They are seeing the work that you guys are doing. So keep it up. Y'all are awesome. I'm going to start internally. I just want to thank you guys all for the cross-branch collaboration with my cabinet and staff. It has made my job and Laura's job a whole lot easier. And so we really appreciate the work that you guys are doing, and I'm really excited for the events that are going to happen with our collaboration. Additionally, Philanthropy, GR, and Cabinet committees are all starting interviews and application review. So if you guys know of anybody that wants to join student government but still doesn't quite know what to do, Philanthropy and Cabinet committees do have rolling application. GR does have a strict deadline as of yesterday at 11:59. But if you do know of people that do want to get involved, those are two great ways to get involved. Next, I wanted to put this on y'all's radar just in case anybody wanted to get involved. My Secretary of Veterans Affairs is working with the University of Alabama right now to create a Salute to Service Week in November. They're working on the events, and we're looping in the VP's branch on the programming side. But I know that that doesn't really align with anybody's committees exactly, but I wanted to put that out there if anybody did want to get involved with that. Next, Imagine Carolina. Imagine Carolina, the deadline to sign up is today. I don't think I can talk enough about how important this event is. This was created specifically by the president because he wants to hear student concerns And this event only happens once every 3 years. So if you are not a freshman right now, you will never have the opportunity to participate in this event ever again. I know it's a Sunday, I know it's all day, but I do want to say that the loss of Magic Carolina, that's what led to an increase in the 4-year advising model and to a lot of Wi-Fi renovations around campus. And I know it doesn't feel like that, but better parking. Again, no, it doesn't feel like that, but I cannot tell y'all enough how incredible of an event this is, and I really think that everybody should do it. So if you are interested, the sign up is in the group me, so please register for that. Speaking of parking, Zipcar is up and running. So excited. I don't know if you guys saw behind Russell, 2 of the Zip cars are right there. So if you do know of anybody that maybe has trouble getting access across Columbia and wants to use one of our cars that we have, you can register through the Zipcar app for free of charge for this entire year. And then again, the basic cars range around $9.75 per hour per car. Next up, I have Russell House Expansion Committee on Friday. So if anybody has any suggestions or would like to partake in that committee, please let me know. Additionally, I have a meeting with Stacy Fritz on Friday. So if there's anything health and being or sustainability related that you would like to put on her radar, please email me and I will make sure that that gets brought up. I also wanted to kind of echo what Maura was saying about Dr. Goodman, and also I've worked with Senate, and I just wanted to let y'all know, like, this is not discrediting any of the work that anybody has done. The work that you guys are doing is still so important, and there is still work that needs to be done in the codes in the meantime. But I think having someone come in and have the opportunity to take a look at our codes, as Maura was saying, so we don't get in any legal trouble, is very appreciated. And I also think this will allow all of you guys to have more of an opportunity to do more forward-facing work for the students or the committees that you represent, and so that you guys don't have to kind of look at the nitty-gritty of the codes all the time. Also, UT Austin and LSU have been going through this, have already gone through the process, and I've heard nothing but good things through them. But again, happy to answer any questions about that. And last but not least, Popsicles with the Provost. If you're in the Academics Committee and would like to meet Provost Fitzpatrick and talk about some of the legislation that you are working on regarding academics, that is going on from 12:30 to 3:30. So please stop by and get some great gourmet popsicles. With that, I yield my time to questions.
The student body president yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? All right, seeing none. Senator Sheridan? No, it's okay.
Yes, I meet on Fridays in room 302 from 12:45 to 1:45.
I'm also going to that, so if you want a buddy to sit with, I'll be there.
Yes. That's a great question. They want to get the recommendation in early so that we can make sure to kind of mark that off on his calendars. I believe next summer. Next summer. Yes. Again, you guys it'll be fully transparent with all of y'all as well.
Any other questions? Seeing none. Thank you. And like, to be clear, like, Dr. Goodman hasn't been like hired yet. Like, this is all like a conversation. It's not like he's like signed a contract or anything. Okay. We are now in line for special orders of the Senate. Are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other? The clerk will now read.
A communication from the Powers and Responsibilities Committee requesting a 1-week extension for the following application, Brandon Green.
The question is of a 1-week extension to interview the applicant. All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The extension is granted. Continuing on with the special orders of the Senate, are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other? The clerk will now read.
Communication from the Office of the Speaker of the Student Senate regarding vacant seat applications, Jasper Ryan and Taylor Manwaring.
The applicants are referred to the Powers and Responsibilities Committee. Continuing on with the special orders of the Senate, are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other? The clerk will now read.
Communication from the Office of the Student Body President regarding the veto of SBL's 11741, a bill to fair elections enforcement.
This is the veto that the student body president talked about last. It's not a new one. Received. Continuing on with the special orders of the Senate, are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other? The clerk will now read.
Communication from the Office of the Speaker of the Student Senate regarding delegation assignments. Sergio Venegas, Arnold School of Public Health. Sebastian Lemarie, Colonial Life. Gavin Primus, College of Education.
Just a clarification, it's Carolina Life. Received. Continuing on with the special orders of the Senate, are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other? The clerk will now read.
A communication from the Office of the Speaker of the Student Senate regarding committee assignments. Sergio Beganis, Academics, Sustainability. Sebastian Lemarie, Academics, Sustainability. Gavin Primus, Academics and Student Life.
The question is of the approval of committee assignments en bloc. All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The committee assignments are approved. Continuing on with the special orders of the Senate, are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other? The clerk will now read.
Communication from the Office of the Speaker of the Student Senate regarding the resignation of Victoria Ashmore from the position of Student Senate.
Received. Continuing on with the special orders of the Senate, are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other? The clerk will now read.
A communication from the Constitutional Council regarding the appointment of court stenographer and Gavin Nazir.
Received. Continuing on with the special orders of the Senate, are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other? The clerk will now read. Seeing no more special orders of the Senate, we are now in the motion period. Are there any motions on the floor at this time? Senator Kirby. There has been a motion to add Senator Kirby to the Judiciary Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Chairwoman Diapolito. Senator Fry. There's been a motion to remove Senator Fry from the Finance Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Fry. There's been a motion to add Senator Fry to the Powers and Responsibilities Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Gay. There's been a motion to remove Senator Gay from the Academics Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Gay. There's been a motion to remove Senator Gay from the Health and Safety Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Chairwoman Gopal. There's been a motion to remove Chairwoman Gopal from the Finance Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Watley. Does the sponsor find these amendments friendly or unfriendly? All right. Seeing no objections, these amendments are now adopted. Senator Iftikhar. There's been a motion to appoint Senator Watley as Senator Iftikhar's proxy. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Iftikhar. Granted. Chairwoman Diapolito. Do the sponsors find this amendment friendly or unfriendly? Do the sponsors find this amendment friendly or unfriendly? Okay. Seeing no objections, this amendment is now adopted. Senator Jacobson. There's been a motion to remove Senator Jacobson from the Finance Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Cassetti. There's been a motion to remove Senator Cassetti from the Academics Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Cassetti. There's been a motion to add Senator Cassetti to the Sustainability Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Mwakapusia. There's been a motion to add the senator to the Sustainability Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Chairwoman Cumby. Right. There's been a motion to confirm, so I can say that correctly. There's been a motion to confirm Sergio Bangas, Sebastian Lemarie, and Gavin Primus to the position of student senator. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. The nominees are confirmed. Chairwoman Cumby. There's been a motion to suspend the rules to allow the newly confirmed nominees to take their oath of office. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Y'all can come on down. And you got my tux. Okay, slay.
I, Sebastian Murray, do solemnly pledge faithfully execute the office of student senator to abide by the state government constitution and codes, to uphold the Carolinian freedom, and to represent my constituents to the best of my ability.
Before y'all get your placards, wait, really quickly, y'all three, will you just come tell my staff how to pronounce your last names just so we make sure that we're pronouncing them correctly? Because I think we might be doing everyone's wrong and I want to make sure that we're correct. Okay, and y'all can take a seat amongst. Is there a motion to reinstate the rules? Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. We are still in the motion period at this time. Are there any motions from the floor? Senator Walk-Pusia. Granted. Chairman Spurgeon. Yeah. There's been a motion to add Senator Lemery to the Student Life Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Any other motions on the floor at this time? Okay. Seeing no more motions, is there a motion to dispense of this motion period? Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. We are now on the call of the introduction of the new legislation. The clerk will now read.
SBL 11761, a recommendation to revitalize Russell House Underground.
Senator Sheridan, you are recognized to speak on this legislation.
Hey, I'm excited to talk about this piece of legislation here, not just because it's the first one I've put out, but because I think it's going to be really good for our school. So I'm going to read just a little bit from here. Russell House Underground is currently outdated in its design, decoration, and available equipment, limiting its potential as a premier student event space. And new attractions and features such as expanded live performance capabilities, enhanced lounge areas, and integrated esports or entertainment zones would maximize the use of the space and attract a wider range of student organizations and events. Part of what we want to do here is make sure the website is updated, make sure that people can actually get that space, as well as expand the hours of Russell Underground and make sure that people can have the space for longer if they want to. I yield for questions.
All right, the senator yields his time to questions. Are there any questions for the senator? Seeing none, this legislation is now referred to the Student Life Committee. Continuing on with the call of new legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 11762, sponsored by Senator Lewis, a resolution to welcome the freshman council class of 2025-2026.
Senator Lewis, you're recognized to speak on this legislation. Also, all this legislation was in the rules folder, but I'm moving it over there right now so you guys are able to see it.
Good evening. So this is a pretty simple one. Basically, it's just to recognize and welcome our new freshman council class for this year. And they're pretty smart because they're all chosen. So no doubt about that one. Yeah, keep it short and simple. I'll yield for questions.
The senator yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Senator Kirby. There's been a motion to pass SBL 11762 by unanimous consent. Seeing no objections, this legislation is now adopted. Continuing on with the call of new legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 11763, sponsored by the Finance Committee, a recommendation to permit the Finance Committee to allocate funds.
Chairman Matthews, you are recognized to speak on this legislation.
Hello again. So yeah, this one, again, it's beginning of the semester. This one's pretty simple. $16 to the Cocky cleanup crew and $400 to Delta Sigma Pi. Any questions?
The chairman yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Chairwoman Hopkins. There's been a motion to pass SBL 11763 by unanimous consent. Seeing no objections, this legislation is now adopted. Continuing on with the call of new legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 11764, sponsored by Senator Lewis, a recommendation to increase the student activity fee by $10.
Senator Lewis, you are once again recognized to speak on this legislation.
So this is a recommendation to recommending that we increase the student activity fee by $10. Now, some of you are thinking there, why is this necessary? Well, guess what? We are getting ready to run out of money and outprice ourselves at this point. Just to be honest with you, I've done some very heavy research with this. I even reached out to one of our adult advisors over there, and we talked heavily about this. And basically, we have about 40,000 students here on this campus. And so if you take 40,000 and times that what our current number is now and divide it by all the departments that we have, is the current budget that we have. So what we're asking right now is to go raise it up to $10. So put us somewhere between the 65 and 70 mark. And we're going to back. That budget is not going to all come to student government, but it's going to be spaced out between all the student life departments. And so everyone will get more money. And so in our student life committee meeting a couple weeks ago, we discussed this and we talked heavily about this with the senators. And I think that the idea is great. I think that we're looking at it from a number standpoint and not personally. And also what I add is, if you look at, for example, SEC school, the University of Florida, they are pushing $1.4 million right now. We're not even pushing half of that number right now. Texas A&M pushing somewhere close to 800,000. University of Texas, you got LSU. All these schools are pushing these heavy numbers. And then I saw our number and I said, well, wait a minute, I don't know what we're doing here. And so essentially, I'm going to be having a meeting coming up next week. It's going to be planned. And I'm going to be on a Zoom call meeting with one of the representatives from one of these SEC schools, currently LSU, to talk about what they have done and how they have done this exact same thing with their student government and was very successful at this. Moving forward, what I would ask you is to look around at the things that you benefit from on campus. It probably comes from the student activity fee. So if you want to see more of that, more things like that, I think that we should be advocating for things that are going to benefit all students, and this is. We're not trying to bankrupt anybody. We're keeping it very profitable and things like that. Also, I would invite everyone to please get in contact with me or Tommy so you can come to our student life committee meeting, and we're going to actually be doing another deep dive conversation into that. So send him an email. He can get you put on our list. And with that, I yield for questions.
The senator yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Chairwoman Diapolito.
Well, we haven't had a raise in 10 years. So I took $1 per year with a consultant of adult and youth leadership, but if we would need to go more, I can amend it to go higher. We had one number in my high as $100. So that'll put you at 155. But through the finance department, we thought this would be reasonable. And again, this will be up to the board of trustees. But what we want to say is, hey, it's our fee. Let us have a say in this so we can discuss it with them and not they're making decisions about us.
Any other questions? Chairwoman Gopal.
Yeah, and I would say this too. Let's just not talk about this fee. Your tuition bill saw an increase for every other department fee, including athletics. Let me just say that to $300 to keep your tickets free. Your technology fee went up. Your lab fees went up. So we was the only department that did not raise our fee to keep up with the cost of rising stuff, and that made no sense to me.
Any other questions? Speaker Pro Tempore Violette.
No, it will not. And the reason for that, 40,000 students paid tuition this year. No, not there. There's not increased tuition fees that are applied to your tuition to benefit these things. So if you don't want tickets, don't pay that fee. If you don't want the technology, don't pay that fee. You know, if you're not taking Spanish, you don't pay the lab fee, essentially, the language fee. I don't pay that because I don't take Spanish.
Chairwoman Diapolito.
I did not say that. But what I was saying was, if you don't want to do that, then just don't pay it. But I didn't give any legal advice or anything.
Just to clarify, this student activity fee is like, how do I say this? Like when you look at your tuition bill, like you pay like a giant chunk that's like tuition, but it's not like that whole giant chunk is just tuition. It's behind after you pay, broken down into separate categories. So like some of that money goes to the college that your major is in, and some of that money goes to some things. The student life fee is like inside that. So like when you pay your tuition, it looks like you're not paying a student life fee, but there is a number that is designated in like the large tuition, like 6-figure number or whatever that's in there. It's not 6 figures, it's 5, but Speaker Pro Tempore Violette.
Can you define like unutilized departments for me? Yes, it does make sense. I would say I don't really know a department that's not been very utilized at this point. Again, I would say look around, and if you enjoy some of the amenities that you have on campus, it's probably at the bottom of your tuition fee, at your tuition bill. I would say that.
Senator Watley.
Being honest with you, yes. And so that's a great point you brought that up. I would recommend let's have a voice in this decision because again, it was on the agenda at the June Board of Trustees meeting. They were discussing it, but it was paused for the simple reason to get the input of the students.
Also, just a further clarification on the student life fee, and if you guys are interested in this, I have like a bunch of resources on this because Senate 115, so 2 years ago, did like a massive resource committee on this. The student life fee pays for everything student life. So like Garnet Entertainment, Homecoming, student government, the Leadership and Service Center, like anything under that Department of Student Life falls under that fee. So it's not like that money is just directly to student government. It goes to like a bunch of different departments under student life. Senator Von Cannon.
No, that is not my goal. Just to make a bit billionaire off of this. My goal was to make us competitive for this, and I referenced those schools. So if, again, it goes back to the fact is that we have not had a raise in 10 years. Those 10 years, prices went up. Yes, they have higher student populations, but that still does not neglect the fact that we have one budget, and then the cost of everything is another thing. And so, like the speaker said, different things come from like homecoming, student affairs, multicultural, and even some of the staff are paid throughout this budget. So this is a pretty extensive thing, and it brings a lot of revenue. We only see one part of it because we deal with the aspect of giving money to oriented from student government. There's many offices and departments that see a benefit and benefit from this. I have not heard back from them yet at this point, but again, are you saying that the population size determines the fee?
I can share, sorry to interject, I can share the research presentation from the 115th tonight because I think that might answer. I spent so many hours on that, so this like somewhat of a passion project that I worked on when I was a senator. I have those numbers for Senator Lewis if you'd like them. Not off the top of my head, but. Any other questions? And I will send that presentation tonight. I just gotta deep dive in my Google Drive and find it.
Yeah, let me just say this too, that again, the Student Life Committee has a meeting coming up this week. I encourage all senators to please be at this committee meeting to get the information and the PowerPoint.
Any other questions? Senator Wakapusia.
Tell me what time's the meeting?
Monday at 6 p.m. in the LSC.
Monday at 6 p.m. in LSC.
All right. Any other questions? Seeing none. Thank you, Senator Lewis. The legislation is now referred to the Student Life Committee. Continuing on with the call of new legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 11765, sponsored by Senator Lewis, a recommendation to expand Wi-Fi coverage in outdoor areas of campus.
Senator Lewis, you are once again recognized.
Yeah, so basically we just heard some people talk about the Wi-Fi. This is going to actually focus on a different aspect of Wi-Fi. It is focusing on the high traffic areas of campus, including your green spaces, your remote areas, and your outdoor learning spaces. So that can be anything, the horseshoe, anything like a bus stop, anything like any outdoor or green space learning areas. We want to work to get the Wi-Fi expanded out there. I can't even study outside sometimes. I don't have Wi-Fi out there, and yeah, we have the hotspot program here at the little library, but that's not going to accommodate 40,000 students. It's just not going to work. We need the Wi-Fi put out there outside and to expand it out there. And with that, I yield for questions.
The senator yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Senator Wakapusia. No, it's okay. That's a great question. Yes and no. The athletic, not baseball, but Colonial Life and Williams-Brice are like semi-third party autonomous units. But yes, like for example, the portable chargers in Williams-Brice, that was a student government initiative. So we do have some sway. That would be an interesting idea. Any other questions? Seeing none, this legislation is now referred to the Student Life Committee. Continuing on with the call of new legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 11766, sponsored by Senator Lewis, a recommendation to expand meal plan use to athletic concessions.
Senator Lewis, you are once again recognized.
So this is just another simple one as well. It is basically asking to allow your meal plans to be used at the athletic venues and athletic concession stands. So currently right now, if you have a meal plan, you get like retail swipes or you get like dolls in there. You can't use it at athletic concession stands. So we're asking them to add that option out there for the students to allow them to do that. It's going to be more convenient for them to get better use of your dining meal plans. And I think things like that, it's not too complicated. It won't affect your dining plan at all. It's not even going to raise the prices. It's just going to add more options of where you can use them at. With that, I yield for questions.
The senator yields his time to questions. Chairwoman Diapolito.
I mean, I could add the amendment in there, but it's really just basically what you use now in like the commercial places here in Russell House and things like that. So it's not really changing anything. And to be fair, they had this program actually about 5 years ago at Williams-Brice. They allow you to do that. They just really never done it when they done some of the renovations.
Any other questions? Seeing none, this legislation is now referred to the Student Life Committee. Continuing on with the call of new legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 11767, sponsored by Chairperson Koviak, a recommendation to expand and revitalize the pre-professional and graduate advising office.
Are there any representatives present? Speaker Pro Tempore Violette, you're recognized.
Bear with me, guys. Chairperson Koviak sent me a recording, so we're gonna
They're really passionate about this. so.
very, very passionate. Bear with me.
Hello, everyone. Apologies for not being there to present on this piece of legislation myself, but I have gotten sick, so did not want to bring that sickness to any of you. That being said, I wanted to kind of give an overview of this piece of legislation, which Daniel will present on my behalf. Essentially, this piece is aimed at asking the university to help the Office of Pre-Professional and Graduate Advising expand. In case you didn't know, after doing research and connecting with the office, I found out that this office only has 2 people who can do the graduate advising aspect. Think about that for a second. We have 40,000 students on campus. Around 37 to 38,000 of them are our undergraduates who would be going for graduate school and are not already actively enrolled. There's genuinely not enough people in that office to meet the amount of meetings they would have to do all the students if everyone decided to go. Even with us not having everyone decide to go, it's still a lot of meetings. Just with what they gave me as their data, just from fall 2024 to summer 2025 of this year, they had 1,780 students come for initial consultations and 80 prospective students come. That's not counting all the students who came and popped into their offices when they had free time. It's not counting people who were emailing them. It's not counting a lot of the students. So you can imagine if they have that many official on the books meetings, how many unofficial ones they're having. They don't have enough time. They also do a lot of things to help our students prepare in other ways, doing stuff like helping them do professional letters of recommendation, prepping for all of the standardized testing, so MCAT, LSAT, GRE, and all the other acronyms for those cursed standardized testing that we all despise. But also too setting up things like law school fairs and info sessions and sharing how to apply to actually do grad school and finding scholarships and alumni networks and all of these other things. But you can imagine with that many things going on, they can't help everyone individually with all the questions that they may have that are very hyper specific. It's leaving a lot of our students without anywhere to turn. You know, it's especially a big barrier for students who already have existing barriers of access. People who are first gen, transfer students, students who may not have a faculty advisor or someone that is able to be more one-on-one with them, students who don't have support. And while this office does its best to make sure they can meet with everyone, there are always going to be people who fall in the cracks, and especially so in an office this small. So that being said, I spoke with their office, and then just with everything going on, we recommend that this office expand, especially to help keep our numbers up. We have students applying, getting accepted to grad schools at very high rates, some of which being at higher rates just by 3% compared to national averages, and some as high as 30% higher, anywhere from like 30 to 60% in difference. That's good, but we want it to be better. It can always be better. And they can't make it better if they don't have support in the numbers to do so. With that, that's kind of the big overview. If you have any questions, please, just since I'm not here right now, please direct them to me over message or in committee or even on the second reading, just because Daniel is obviously not going to have as much awareness of this piece. But with that, I yield.
I yield my time to the well.
Okay. This legislation is now referred to the Academics Committee. Also, just to provide maybe like an interesting update on this legislation, on Monday I had like my monthly meeting with our vice president for student affairs and academic support, Rex Tolliver, and I brought up this piece of legislation, and he already had me send it to him, and he said that he was going to be bringing it up in meetings because he was also pretty shocked when I told him this, because I also, when I found this out, was like, no way. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, there is a way. So yeah, but that is now referred to the Academics Committee. Continuing on with the call of new legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 11768, sponsored by Senator Aloco, a recommendation for rented umbrellas at major colleges and university buildings.
Senator Aloco, you're recognized to speak on this legislation.
Hi, everyone. I'm really excited to be presenting this. This is also my first piece of legislation that I've written. A couple times last year, I've been caught in like hurricanes outside, and like my books get wet, my backpack gets wet, and I have to walk like 20 minutes to get to my parking spot. So this this recommendation is super straightforward. You know how we have like the to-go systems at the dining halls, those little green things that you like check out and put back in. It's kind of the same thing, but for umbrellas. We all know how crazy the weather is here, so yeah, that's kind of it. It's been implemented. I found 2 places, Penn State in 2015 and Tulane in 2019. So yeah, that's it. I yield my time to questions.
The senator yields her time to questions. Senator Sheridan.
I would say like kind of like how the dining hall system works. Like you can leave it at any dining hall. Like if there's multiple of these like umbrella locations, you can like dispose of it back into one of those. Yeah. I think it can be done one of 2 ways, either the way you said where there's staff or somebody there, or like, you know, like those lockers when you like pay for it and then you like take it out and you can use it and you close it, whatever, kind of something like that, where it's like you scan something on your phone, like an app or whatever, or something for the university, and it works like that.
Any other questions? Senator Lewis.
I think like how the dining hall is free, like it would be free. It's like a small one-time cost to get a bunch of umbrellas, which I'm fine with that. Yeah. I would say like Russell House is a university location, like Gambrell, like we don't have to do it at Gambrell, and I forget the name of the one across the street or across the little path, but like close it. Like you don't need to do it at both of those, but like one in like, you know, big locations on campus and things like that.
Any other questions? Senator Kirby.
I have no idea. I have never been to Tulane or to Penn State, but I'm sure ours are crazier.
Senator Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, I like haven't thought of like mapped it out on like with like pins or anything, but I'm sure I could like work with somebody to figure out like major hotspots on campus that could be used for.
Senator Lewis.
I don't really know. I would probably have to reach out to some of our advisors and see like who I could work with or talk to about this. This is kind of just like an idea to get out there. And if it gets past, like working towards that goal.
They're probably going to say campus facilities, if I had to guess. Senator Cohen. There's been a motion to appoint Senator George as Senator Cohen's proxy. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Colum? Granted. Any other questions? Seeing none, this legislation is now referred to the Health and Safety Committee. Good job, first presentation of legislation. All right, continuing on with the call of new legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 11769, sponsored by Senator Sheridan, a recommendation to bring free printing to the Honors Residence Hall.
Senator Sheridan, you're once again recognized to speak on this legislation. Senator Hunter? Granted.
So with this one, I'm not sure if any of y'all are in the Honors College, but when you first think about coming to this university, you are marketed towards it as you're going to get free printing if you're in the Honors College. Then you get on campus and you find out that you get the free printing all the way in Harper College and not where you're living in Honors Residence Hall. I've talked to a lot of people who are within Honors and people who are continuing Honors as well. They say that they feel, kind of sabotaged a little bit, which, yeah, it's not a huge decision when you don't get free printing if you're in the Honors College, but they would love to see it where they're living in their residence hall. Because another aspect of it is that in Harper College, the hours are just throughout the regular workday, but you see a lot of students themselves who are working, till 10, 11, 12 o'clock, and they want to be able to get their free prints. There's currently a printing kiosk within the Honors Residence Hall. There is already like a mechanism in place to know if you're in the Honors College, and to know like what school you belong to. So if there's a way where we can use that Carolina card, use it at the kiosk and get our free prints, I believe that'd be very, effective for our students. We already pay a $750 annual fee. I want to see some of that money going to our prints. And as well, with the printing stations, I have in here saying 153 prints per semester at the kiosks, and then you have your unlimited ones within Harper College. And I yield to questions.
The senator yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, this legislation is now referred to the Student Life Committee. Continuing on with the call of new legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 11770, sponsored by Senator Lewis, a bill to reform campaign expenditures and donations act of 2025.
Senator Lewis, you are now recognized to speak on this legislation.
Hey, so this is a bill that I have drafted up and submitted it here before you guys for the Senate. So basically it's about, it just talks a little bit about the how campaign donations. So we just strike the current line we have, set a new system up for our campaign donations, similar to what the other SEC schools have. So I'm glad they talked about Dr. Goodman. He's actually written the rule for 2 other schools that we talked to about it. But so yeah, the rule is pretty straightforward. It takes out the loopholes. It takes out the confusion for it. It's pretty straightforward, and it's a pretty by the book thing that was written for it. With that, you have questions, Speaker.
The senator yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, this legislation is now referred to the Judiciary Committee. Continuing on with the call of new legislation, the clerk will now read. Hearing none, we are now on the call of the uncontested reading calendar. Before we go here, does anybody want to do a break or do we want to power through? Up to y'all. Power through, that's what I was thinking. So, all right. We are now on the call of the uncontested legislation, and the clerk will now read.
SBL 11755, sponsored by Speaker Pro Tempore Violette and Senator Sams, a recommendation to request that the University Police Department and City of Columbia Police Department routinely monitor Assembly Street and Blossom Street.
The sponsors are recognized to speak on this legislation.
Hey, everybody. So, yeah, this is just, like we said last week, especially around Blossom Street and Assembly Street, people are going way, way too fast down those streets. Accidents have actually occurred at the intersection between Blossom and Assembly. In our piece, we actually listed some times that were of specific importance, like 8 a.m., 12 p.m., 2 p.m., 5 p.m., 7 p.m., and 9 p.m. This is just where traffic seems to be the worst. I think she could probably speak a little bit better on the radar speed sign.
Okay. So like I said last week, what we kind of want to implement with these radar speed signs are the ones that have the red and blue lights, because those have been shown to scare people a little bit more. They'll slow down because they think it's police officers.
And then radar speed signs specifically have been proven to lower speeds by 10 to 20% and actually decrease speeding accidents. So by implementing a speed monitor, it would be really beneficial because hopefully people won't speed, and especially because there are so many hills around here. People go really fast down the hills. It's just, it would be better to have a radar speed sign there than not.
I want to reiterate this. The issue is not the people that are going 40 down to 35. Issue is that there's a lot of people that are going like 50 and over. And this is like right next to what? Greek Village? Yeah, so like our neighborhoods, our own backyards. Well, we yield our time to questions.
Great. The senators yield their time to questions. Are there any questions? Senator Sheridan.
$0. This is actually like this in coordination with USCPD and Columbia's Police Department. So I mean, unless you pay taxes here, but
It's kind of included.
yeah.
Any other questions? Senator Kirby.
Yes, I actually spoke with USCPD on this matter. They kind of were like, yeah, it's more of a City of Columbia thing, but they supported it.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we will now move to a voice vote on this legislation. All those in favor of passage say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The legislation is adopted. Yay. Congrats, Senator Sam's first one. All right. Continuing on with the call of the uncontested legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 11756, sponsored by Vice Chairman Fry and Chairperson Koviak. A recommendation to encourage student senators to build representation on the Master Mobility Plan USC Next.
Vice Chairman Fry, you're recognized.
Yeah, there's not really any update to this recommendation. I just wanted to bring it all to your attention that this recommendation is really just designed to encourage students to talk with members of the team that are going to be starting this Master Mobility Plan project. I think last time I talked at the end, there was a thing I left in there about forming a committee that we might just amend because I don't think it's necessary. But other than that, I yield the floor to questions.
All right. Any questions? Seeing none, we will now move to a voice vote on this legislation. All those in favor of passage say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. This legislation is now adopted. Continuing on with the call of the uncontested legislation, the clerk will now read. Hearing none, we are now on the call of the contested calendar. And just a point of information, per the amendments submitted for SBL 11757, the piece that was about considering the loss of a pet as excused absences and then routine doctor's appointment, it was now split. So it's SBL 11757, a recommendation to consider the loss of a pet as excused absences, and then SBL 11771, a recommendation to consider routine doctor's appointments as routine absences, and this should be reflected in your drive. But the clerk will now read for the contested calendar.
SBL 11757, sponsored by Senator Talaka, a recommendation to consider the loss of a pet as an excused absence.
Senator Watley, you're recognized to speak.
Hello, everyone. I am Senator Talaka's proxy today. It has said it has split into two different legislative pieces now, with the first one being considering routine doctor appointments as excused absences. Similar to the legislation proposed last week, it is requesting that doctor's appointments that are routine be allowed as an excused absence, as it is difficult for students, as it can be difficult for students to get an appointment done, especially as most doctors' offices are open only during like weekdays, which could be when classes are, and it can make it more difficult for accessibility for medication or anything important.
Yeah, right now we're on 57, which is the loss of a pet.
Oh, my bad, guys. Okay,
So, for the loss of a pet, it is requiring a vet to approve of it or like give proper documentation of it, and it would be limited to 2 per year. Previously there wasn't really much of a maximum, so this has been put in place to limit it from the last week's legislation.
If she doesn't have anything, do you yield your time to questions?
Yes, I yield my time to questions.
The senator yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Chairwoman Diapolito.
That is a good question. I am assuming it might be just 1 day, but I would have to talk to Senator Chewbacca on that.
Any other questions? Okay, no more questions. Hearing none, we will now move to a roll call vote. The clerk will call the roll. The vote of aye in the affirmative is for the passage of this legislation, and a vote of nay in the negative is to fail this piece of legislation.
Aloka. Anderson. Baldinger.
And make sure you speak up.
Venegas. Brazier.
Wait. Venegas? Aye.
Brazier. Coolum. Koviak. Humby. Diapolito. Davis. Dorsey. Worsnowski. Erler. Freer. Fry. Galvin. Gay. George. Gopel. Hopkins. Hunter. Iftikhar. Jacobson.
Oh, 1 second. Abstain.
Jacobson. Cassetti. Keenan. Kern. Kirby. Liv Marie. Lewis. Matthews. Wakapusia. Pickford. Primus. Sams. Sanders. Santiago Cedillo. Sheridan. Spurgeon. Silkert. Tapia. Talaka. Violette. Violette. Von Cannon. Walker. Watley.
Aye. Have all senators voting and present answered the call? Awesome. Is there a motion for a brief recess to tabulate? Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. This is going to be actually brief, so I wouldn't go anywhere. By a vote of 25 or 27? 25 ayes, 17 nays, and 1 abstention, the legislation is now adopted. Continuing on, Senator George. There's been a motion to appoint Senator Primus as we're going to do one by one. Senator George's proxy. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. There's been a motion to appoint Senator Primus as Senator Coulombe's proxy. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator George. Granted. Okay. Continuing on with the call of the contested legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 11771, sponsored by Senator Talaka, a recommendation to consider routine doctor's appointments as excused absences.
Senator Watley, you're once again recognized.
Thank you. I pretty much already explained this on accident, so
If you guys would like an explanation.
I yield my time to questions.
All right, the senator yields her time to questions. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we will now move to a voice vote on this legislation. The clerk will call the roll. Please enunciate. Don't forget your proxies.
Loco. Anderson. Baldinger. Venegas. Brazier. Fulham. Kovia. Cumby. Diapolito. Davis. Dorsey. Worsnowski. Erler. Freer. Fry. Galvin. Gay. George. Rappel. Hopkins. Hunter. Iftikhar.
Oh, proxy abstain.
Jacobson. Cassetti. Keenan. Kern. Kirby. Lee Marie. Lewis. Matthews. Walkapusia. Pickford. Primus. Sams. Sanders. Santiago Cedillo. Sheridan. Spurgeon. Silkert. Tapia. Talaka.
Proxy aye.
Violette. Von Cannon. Walker. Watley.
Aye.
Are all senators voting present? Have all senators voting and present answered the call? By a vote of 40 ayes, 2 nays, and 1 abstention, this legislation is now adopted. Continuing on with the call of the contested legislation, the clerk will now read.
SBL 11760, sponsored by the Rules Committee, a recommendation to USC to employ Dr. Michael Goodman and establish a committee to revise the codes.
The Rules Committee is recognized to speak on this legislation.
I think we can explain it. So, like I said during our recap, rules met, and we discussed an amendment, specifically with the that clauses at the end of the legislation. We found that there was some controversy surrounding that. I think she might be able to speak a bit better on that.
So we just edited the that clauses to take out who exactly is going to be in this committee. Specifically, it was missing something that said the speaker was an option. Any speaker that would be serving right now or at any time would be a good option to be in a committee like this because they are some of the most knowledgeable people about the codes because they work with them every day as well as us. Also, in the that clause, there was something that said at least 7 senators, no matter experience, must be in the committee as well.
which some of us also felt was not appropriate just because this committee is to efficiently find problems within the codes that we might already know or we might see, and let Dr. Goodman know so that he could let us know and we could start getting stuff done. However, this isn't saying that senators shouldn't be a part of this process. I don't know who's going to be in the committee. This now says that the advisors will choose because we believe that they know who in student government or whatever the group that they're choosing is from are very well versed with the codes, that they'll be great. However, this promotes some communication within student government, which is so awesome. If anyone sees something within the codes or sees something that needs to be switched or sees something that might not be legal or sees something where there could be a loophole, something like that, they are more than capable of going and talking to a member of the committee. And that way we can engage everyone in some great communication and get people outside of their comfort zones of texting or emailing or calling or going up to people that they might not usually go up to. So that was the reason for this amendment. Do you have anything else?
So, like she said, he's not actually, like the speaker said as well, he's not actually going to be changing things. He's going to be given that committee recommendations to make the changes. At the end of the day, those changes will be brought up to y'all and it will be voted by y'all. He will not be going in and doing drastic changes. So at the end of the day, we still have the say-so, we still have the voting power. With that, we yield our time to questions.
The sponsors yield their time to questions. Are there any questions for the sponsors? Any questions? Seeing none, we will now move to a roll call vote. The clerk will call the roll.
Loco, Anderson, Waldinger, Venegas, Brazier, Woolham, Koviak, Cumby, Diapolito, Davis, Dorsey, Worsnowski, Erler, Freer, Fry, Galvin, Gay, George, Gopel, Hopkins, Hunter, Iftikhar,
Proxy, Iftikhar.
Jacobson, Cassetti, Keenan, Kern, Kirby, LeMarie, Lewis, Matthews, Wakapusia, Pickford, Primus, Sams, Sanders, Santiago Cedillo, Sheardon, Spurgeon, Silker, Tapia, Talaka, Violette, Von Cannon, Walker, Watley.
Are all senators voting and present? Have they answered the call? Okay. By a vote of 37 ayes, 4 nays, and 3 abstentions, this legislation is now adopted. Continuing on with the call of the contested legislation, the clerk will now read. Hearing none, we are now in line for a period of open discussion. Do any senators wish to bring a matter of attention to the body? Chairman Matthews.
Okay, so this is really mostly for Finance Committee, but we have, as you all might have noticed, our illustrious Vice Chairman, Matt Fry, has a family conflict and had to leave the committee. So that means the first thing we will be doing on Friday is electing a new vice chairman or vice chairwoman. So the only reason why I am coming up here and telling you guys this now is because you guys, whoever might be interested in it, just know that it is somewhat of a time commitment. Those minutes are very long and complicated. You got to come to every single meeting. You just have to, because you got to get those minutes right, because they're used by me to write the bills, they're used by administration to make sure the reimbursements are all done right. So it's somewhat of a time-consuming role. So if you are interested in it, please talk to me and we can talk about it. I don't know how many people might be interested in it, but it'll be an open race on Friday. So yeah, I yield to questions.
The chairman yields his time to questions. Are there any questions? Also, FYI, you can motion to join a committee at any time. So, like, if for some reason you are interested in joining to be the vice chair, you can motion before Senate ends. All right. Seeing no questions, thank you. We are still in the period of open discussion. Does any senator wish to bring a matter of attention? Chairwoman Diapolito.
Thanks, Jack, for the inspiration. We will actually also be holding a little election for our vice chairperson, as Tori unfortunately had to leave Senate due to time conflicts. So if anyone's also interested in that, feel free to motion. We're still in Senate. Or if you are in the committee already, feel free to say why when you prepare. And with that, I yield my time to the well.
All right. We are still in the period of open discussion. Does any other senator wish to? Holy moly. Okay. Speaker Pro Tempore Violette.
That was a great idea, Jack. Anyways, so Lennox isn't actually here to speak on behalf of this, but academics is also in need of a vice chair. With that, I yield my time to I yield my time to the well.
All right. Do any other senators wish to bring a period of open discussion? Senator Jacobson.
Discussion is open, right? Hey guys, what are y'all doing Friday at 2 p.m.? Y'all should all come to my event. It's funded by student government, or at least the items are. So that's a student government related thing, right, y'all? Friday, 2 p.m. Russell 303. Thank you. I yield to the well.
Say, for future use announcements is for like third-party stuff. Open discussion is student government. Yeah, which is the next part. Don't even worry. You're all good. All right. We are still in the period of open discussion at this time. Does any other senator wish to bring a matter of attention? Senator Leigh Marie. Yeah. There's been a motion to move Senator. Is there an opening? Just checking. Okay. There's been a motion to move Senator Leigh Marie to the College of Arts and Sciences delegation from the. Sorry, I'm looking back up. The Carolina Life delegation. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The senator is assigned to the College of Arts and Sciences delegation. Chairwoman Cassetti. I can just do that without a motion. I don't know which one is the one without a. Oh, sorry. Okay, any other matters for open discussion? Senator Fry? Powers is the one. Okay, so Health West, academics, then finance, then health and safety, then judiciary, then liberties, powers, student life, sustainability. Like Vanilla. Okay. Senator Watley. Okay. Any other matters for the period of open discussion? Speaker Pro Tempore Violette.
This is the last thing, I swear. So we have Stigma-Free Week coming up with the VP's branch, I believe. I heavily encourage you guys to go and show your support with the other branches of student government. I really wanted to thank all the senators that showed up for Safety Week? Yes.
Yes,
Safety Week last week, especially with the safety wall. With that, I yield my time to Will.
All right. Any other matters for open discussion? Seeing none, we are now in line for a period of announcements. Are there any announcements from the floor? Seeing none, I have like a really quick one, but I promise it's fast. So hopefully everybody is now in the correct group meets, just like a good like expectation reminder that group meets are all y'all's responsibility. So please make sure you're joining these. If you're a new senator, scan the QR codes right now and join them. If you leave a committee, leave the group meet. Nobody's gonna remove you. You might see those group meets getting bigger in the next few days, in like an effort to try and encourage like cross-parent collaboration, and things like that. I'm going to add all of the cabinet secretaries that are pertaining to the different topics of the committee. So like, for example, the Student Life Committee is going to get the Secretary of Veterans Affairs or the Secretary of Athletics. And there's somebody for every single committee in Senate. So they're going to be added to those group meetings, as well as all of the committees. There are similar committees in freshman council, and each freshman council committee has somebody who is serving as the Senate liaison. So they're also going to get added into the group meetings. So just like a good reminder that like the group meetings are going to have people that aren't in Senate, and like just make sure that like when we're sending messages and things like that, we know that that group is going to have other types of people in there. Friendly reminder about the Senate retreat next Sunday. You can submit an excused absence on the normal excused absence for Senate sessions. It's going to be next Sunday from 1 to 4, but I don't think it's going to take the whole time, the 28th. It's going to be in the Leadership and Service Center, and it's going to be normal reasons for excused absences, plus because it's a Sunday and that's not a normal time. If you have like pre-scheduled work, pre-scheduled organization, something like that, just reach out, submit an excused absence, and we'll go through it that way. I wanted to repeat what Courtney said about Imagine Carolina. I know you've heard about it so much. It's super easy to register. I actually forgot to, and I just did it before Senate. It takes like 30 seconds. Just go, show up. It's going to be really awesome. And it's also going to be a great chance for you guys to sit there and listen to student feedback, which is your guys' job to be the student advocate as a senator. So that's going to be a great option to be able to do it. Sign up, like basically when I signed up, I just looked up Imagine Carolina registration, and it pops right up on Google. And then also starting next week on Monday, I'm going to be doing one-on-ones with every single one of you guys. Yay. And every single person has to meet with me. Yay. So just make sure that you're looking in your emails. I'm going to send a link for you guys to send it out. I will say it's primarily going to be like after 5 p.m. or on Sundays, but like if those times don't work, we'll figure it out. I'm also open to meeting on Teams, but I would prefer in person. And with that, I yield my time to questions. Any questions? Awesome. Seeing no more questions, is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? Without objection, the stand will now stand adjourned until Wednesday, September 24th, 2025. Really fast. It's gonna take 30 seconds.
Really quickly, I'm Gabby. I'm the press secretary. If anyone has anything they want posted on social media on like the SG Instagram, text me so we can get more Senate things posted and up there so you get more recognition.
If you're one of the new senators, we're gonna meet in the Leadership and Service Center. If you don't know where that is, just come down to the table where my staff is.